I do not mow the yard, so I don't know. I got enough things to do. I don't need to mow the yard too. All right, so $5,000 for the lawnmower, so he can open a landscaping business and mow yards this summer. After accounting for gas, he can make $40 per yard. So that means he's probably charging 50, or he's charging more than that because he has already taken out for gas. But he's calculated that he can make $40 per yard. The function P of N equals 40N minus 5,000 gives the profit that Wade makes for mowing N yards. Okay? So let's think about it. This 40 right here, what is that in context of the situation? $40 per yard. N's our number of yards, so it makes sense we would multiply those two together. Then we have this 5,000. Why is it minus? Right, it costs that amount. It's taken away from the money he has, right? So we have to subtract the 5,000. So at first, like if you bought this $5,000 lawnmower and you mowed 1 yard, that would not be ideal because you would be in the hole, right? You would be down $4,960, right? So I want to know how much money will Wade make if he mows 80 yards. Now, the ones we're going to look at today, they give you the equation. So even if you don't understand all of this, you don't have to write the equation. We know P of N equals 40N minus 5,000, and it told us N was the number of yards, right? So if we want to know how much he makes for 80 yards, even if we don't understand the situation, we just got to take 80 yards and plug it in for the variable that stands for yards, right? So we would say if you want to use function notation, it would be P of 80. You're plugging in 80, but really what you're just doing 40 times 80 minus 5,000. Okay, that is 3,200 minus 5,000. So if Wade only mows 80 yards this summer, then he is out $1,800. Okay, so he actually is losing $1,800 there. So 80 yards is not enough. He's going to have to get more business for it to be worth it for him to buy this mower. Yeah. So, the next question says, how many yards must Wade mow in order to make a profit of $3,000? All right, so this time, I'm still using the same equation, P of N equals 40N minus 5,000. Where do I need to put the 3,000? If I want to put that into this equation, does it go for the N like on the last problem? It's not, because what does the N stand for? Number of yards, okay? What stands for profit? This P of N. It looks like two variables, but it's not. It's a function notation, right? So just like f of x, we can replace it with y. We could just think of this as one single variable right here. So it's just a single variable. So we're going to put 3,000 right here. So 3,000 equals 40N minus 5,000. All right. So, Rosalind, what would I do to solve that equation for the N? Perfect. And so I'd get 8,000 equals 40N. And then what would I have to do after that, Rosalind? Good. And so if I divide by 40, that's going to be 200, right? So 200 yards. So if he could get 200 yards, he would make a profit of $3,000. Or 200. Yeah. That might not mean he's got 200 yards. It might mean that he's got 20 yards and he mows them 10 times during the summer or something like that. That's probably what it means. So you see lots of, like, landscaping is a really, like, easy business to get started because you just, especially if you already have a truck, because you just need a trailer, a mower, a weed eater, and that's about it, right? So it, compared to other businesses where you might need like a building or, you know, something else, pretty low entrance fee there. But you really got to make a lot of calculations about what everything's going to cost you, because guess what's going to happen to that $5,000 lawnmower if you are mowing 200 yards every summer or more? It is going to start to wear out. Eventually, you're going to have to replace it. It's going to cost you another $5,000. You need to kind of calculate that into your business and make calculations for that whenever you're figuring out how much to charge for things. So this is sort of a basic level of how that could help you. It could get more complicated, you know, because I'm just looking at a mower here. I'm not taking into account fluctuating gas prices, some yards being bigger or smaller. You know, there could be a lot more that we could look at. All right, here's another situation for us. Marley has decided to start saving money for a new computer. She has $125 in her savings account right now. She plans to put $50 in the account each week. The function S of T equals 125 plus 50T gives the savings that she has after T weeks. How long will it take her to save up the $1,200 she needs for the new computer? Okay, so right here is our equation. Even if we don't understand how they got it, it gave it to us. So all this reading about it, you don't really have to do. Although, hopefully you understand this 125 right here was the amount she originally had. And then this 50 is the amount per week. So this is 50 times T, which is the number of weeks, right? So we know T is weeks. What is S of T? What does that tell us? That's your savings, or your balance of your saving account there. All right, so for part A, that 12,000 needs to be plugged into that equation. Where does it go? At the front, right? It's S of T. It is not T. T stands for weeks, 12,000 weeks. That's kind of ridiculous for this particular situation. And it's not weeks, it's dollars, right? So we got 12,000 equals 125 plus 50T. All right, Haley, tell me how to solve that. How would I get that T by itself? Not the 50. It's closest to the T. I want to get rid of that 125 first. So I'm going to subtract 125. That is going to give me 1,075 equals 50T. And then what would I do after that, Haley? Divide it by 50. And somebody do that one for me. What is that? 21.5 weeks. So basically about a 22nd week, right? If she's just doing a deposit once. And she'll have a little bit left over. Okay? Yeah, maybe she can get her a little case. She's gonna like 25 extra bucks at 22 weeks. Okay? Alright, if Marley decides not to buy the computer and just keep saving, how much money will she have after 2 years? Okay? Jeff Bezos level. I don't think so at $50 a week, because he makes like gazillions of dollars.
Not so much anymore.
He still has like crazy money. Once you have money, you don't have to do anything to make money. You just make money off of your money.
That is true. You can put it like in the bank and make it yourself.
Yeah, that's what he does. That's what he can do. He could just sit back and get richer and richer and richer because his money makes him money.
You should put like,
It's crazy.
because he's still got like 100 billion. You should put like everything in it, like 100 billion, 50 years. He would make so much more.
Yeah. Which they won't let you put like 100 billion just in a regular bank account, so you got to do stock market stuff, which does have the potential for loss. So it's not quite that easy, but yes. Okay. All right. What would we do? Well, what did you do? Wonderful.
And then multiplied it by 50, and then added the 125.
Okay. Think about what you just said, though. You multiplied it by 50 and added 125 at the end. So if I plug it into this equation, so first of all, we can't plug in 2 because 2 would be 2 weeks, right? So Caitlin's very smart by saying 52 weeks in a year, which we all should know, but my pre-cal did not know the other day. So, some of them knew, not all of them. How many counties are in North Carolina? Did I ask you guys this already?
Here's what I found.
Don't hush. Don't tell him, Siri.
Isn't there like 100?
Hey Siri.
How many counties in North Carolina? Definitive answer. Who feels confident in their answer? Okay, Eddie.
Oh.
How many? You guys are right. It's 100. More of you should know that than do, though. We asked Quiz Bowl the other day. Nobody knew it was 100. There are 100 counties in North Carolina. You need to know this. As a North Carolina resident, there are 100. It's not a difficult number. It's a nice, easy number.
The only
100.
counties I know of are Surrey, Willis.
Don't try to name all.
Okay, so
It's in Guilford.
we got Surrey, Willis.
Yadkin,
I don't know more than that.
Allegheny, Stokes,
I don't know.
Wait, that's not
Forsyth,
Yeah, oh yeah.
Asheville is not a county.
That's a-
Ash County is a county.
Never heard of that one.
Considering that we used to play Ash County High School, that was called Ash County High School, y'all should know that one.
why don't we play Ash County?
We changed conferences, and it was really like a big. It might have been a 3A school, but there's no schools around them. They're 3A, so they play down, and they were always too good for us to play them.
How many countries are in
Countries?
It's a trick question.
Oh, in America, I don't.
Answer one more time. I have a sharp pencil here.
Yeah, I do not know the answer to that question, but I'm gonna guess like 18 in South America. We're gonna throw North and South America. I'm gonna go more. 30. It's okay. Riley will enjoy it. We don't want him to miss out. All right. All right, so if we plug in 104, it'll be 125 plus 50 times 104. So look at what you would do to solve that. You multiply by 50, and then you would add the 125. So it's the same thing as you're doing. You are reasoning through it rather than plugging it into the equation, but it does the same thing. Okay? What do you get for your answer? 5,325. So 5,325. So it's pretty good money. It's pretty good money to save up for 2 years, especially assuming this is a high school student. That's pretty good for a high school student. For a while. For a little while. Yeah. Cause yeah. I don't know. I know that when my husband and I got married, a 1-bedroom apartment, it was in Raleigh, cost us like $560 a month. So, like 10 months. And that was a 1-bedroom. Yeah. Yeah. No. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. In case you are wanting to rent a photo booth, here's another problem. We used to do this for prom some, so this is roughly accurate for a photo booth. Here. The cost to rent a photo booth for events is given by the function C of T equals 125 times T minus 3 plus 400, where T is the number of hours for which you rent the photo booth. You must rent the booth for at least 3 hours. So they do not come and set the photo booth up if you only rent it for 30 minutes. It has to be at least 3 hours that you're going to be there. So how much would it cost to rent the booth for 12 hours? So let's say you're having some sort of carnival or something and you want this photo booth for 12 hours. Okay? Now we could break down this equation. It's a little bit tougher to break down, all right? Anybody want to try? What are they charging here? What's their pricing scheme? What? 400 for the 3 hours. Right here. That's your flat fee for the base.
It's 125 every hour.
I think it's 125 for maybe you get 43 hours.
Okay, so 400 is what they're going to charge to come out, set it up, and you got your 3 hours, right? It's 125 for every hour after that. That's why this is T minus 3, because they're doing number of hours minus 3, because the 3 hours have already been paid for in this 400. Right, but you have to say that it's per hour after your 3 hours. Is that because like if we have 12 hours, it's not just 125 times 12. So, but you don't have to reason through that because they gave you the equation. It is there. They didn't ask you to reason through it. They just said, how much does it cost after 12? So you were just taking this equation. 12, where should I plug it in at for the T or the C of T? T. So I'm going to do 125 times 12 minus 3 plus 400. I gave you your calculators. You can do that in your calculator. It's not that hard to do by hand. But what do you get whenever you do that? What do you get? Yeah, go ahead and give me the final answer. 1,525. Okay, so if you are talking to the photo booth lady and you say, I want this photo booth for 12 hours, and she's like, oh, fine, that'll be $1,525. And you're like, oh, crap. I don't have that much money. Hold on, back up. I only have $1,000. How long can I get this photo booth is the question that you want to ask her, right? It'll depend on the rules of this particular photo booth, which they have not specified here. So let's just go with we can have part of an hour. But there's a chance that they might be like it's got to be in 1 hour increments. So okay, but let's say that they don't mind. They don't mind, 32 minutes. Okay, so once again, we don't have to understand it. As far as like how it's working out, they gave us the equation. Where should the $1,000 be plugged into in this equation? C of T, right? Because that's our cost of the booth. T is the number of hours. So we would do 1,000 equals 125, and then I've got,
Wait, 125?
it's 125. T minus 3 plus 400. Okay, so if we want to solve this, I'd start by distributing that 125. So I got 125 T minus 375 plus 400. If I combine my 375 and the 400, I'm going to get 125 T plus 25. And so if I subtract 25, I will get 975 equals 125 T, and then divide by 125. And somebody tell me what you get when you do 975 divided by 125. What? 7.8. So 7.8 hours. Most photo booth rental companies are small businesses. If you sweet talk them, they'll probably give you 8 hours for $1,000. Those things are expensive to rent as well, in case you're wondering. If you want one for your birthday party, hope you got $600 or $700.
Like, does the photo booth itself cost a lot?
Like, I did photo booth.
Like, you want to buy a
never
photo
see
booth
one.
as part of a photo booth company.
I would imagine, I think there are probably different ways that you can do it. Some people have them where they're just like a fancy camera, like with the,
Can you just get a photographer to take pictures?
photographers are not cheap.
Can you just buy a camera? Like,
If you want another sticker shock here, I did not have super expensive or elaborate photos. I think the pictures for my wedding were almost $2,000, and that was 15 years ago. And that was not with an expensive photographer.
or you could take pictures on your phone and send it out on the printer.
You could. Sometimes you're just gonna say it's good enough, right? Whenever they tell you this. But yeah, and that was not me. Do you guys know that it costs $4,000 to rent the Liberty on a Saturday night?
Yeah.
The Liberty.
The building downtown where they have events. Yeah, and all these wedding venues. The barn over there, that big barn over there in Dobson, it's $5,000 for a Saturday night.
Wait, for like present day or like how much?
Present day.
Okay, what would it be in 2015?
It did not exist in 2015 because people still got married in churches. Or well, in 2015, or are you talking about in 2015 or 15 years ago?
Oh, 2015.
Oh, I don't know. It's probably about the same. I don't know if it's gone up that much.
Why is everything so expensive? We're leaving America.
Things cost a lot of money.
Yes.
Currently, we got some real crazy inflation going on. That's making things worse. You're exactly right.